So from the last video, we had just made a little test trying this out. I'm going to get rid of it now by clicking down here and clicking remove, and everything popped back into normal, although it still says sub item. So let me see if I just reorder these, if that, yeah, there it goes. Sometimes you just got to wake this stuff up. So let's put everything where it belongs here, and then click on Save Menu. And the next thing that we want to do is make our site so that it looks more like a website. So right now when someone first enters my site, it comes up on the blog page. I'll leave a blog on there, but I would like it if it comes to, let's say for example, the About page. So how do we do that? Well, we'll go back into the back end of the website. We'll go into Settings and then Reading. And right here it says front page displays your latest post. That's the default. So we'll change that to a static page, and we will make it the About page. And I'll just show you some more options here for how things display that maybe you want to look further into. And we'll go ahead and click on Save Changes. With that change done, when someone goes to your site, they first end up at this page here, the About page. It would be nice if we had an option here that just said blog, since our website in what I'm envisioning here is not blog driven, but it does have blog capabilities. We'll put a blog on it. So we're going to go back into the back end. We're going to go, and in this case, I'm actually going to do page, add new, and we'll call this blog. We'll go ahead and we'll publish it just as is. And then we'll go back into the menu under Appearances. We'll add blog by checking it and clicking Add to Menu. There it is. We'll save the menu. And as soon as that's saved, we'll go in and we'll check the front end of the website, do a refresh browser, and there's blog. And if we click on that, nothing yet, but if we go back to the back end and we go back into the, where am I here? I'm looking for, yeah, settings, and then reading, and then post page. Change that to blog. Save this. And when we click on blog, it automatically populates that because that's basically what we told it to do. To make some of these pages look even less like a blog program and more like a website, we can get rid of things like we don't need anyone to like our comments page. So to edit that, once again, into the back end, into pages, we'll go into all pages, we'll go into edit, and down here in the edit, likes and shares, we'll go ahead and we'll get rid of the check mark on both of those, and then do that for all of the pages. Once we've done that, we probably want to go to our actual blog page and add as much social media stuff there as we can. So automatically it has the show likes and the sharing button, but it doesn't look like there's many other options here. So always remember this: if you're not seeing or if you want to know if you're seeing all the options that are possible, go up here to Screen Options. Flies this little upper menu open, and you can basically put a check mark in all of them, and just when you get really good at the program, uncheck the stuff that bothers you. So we'll close this up, and we'll allow comments, trackbacks, pingbacks, and actually that's all really, just turning these two back on. And then we'll go ahead and we'll update that. Didn't seem to make much of a change on this particular theme, but the main thing is that we've got the ability to leave comments on the post, and then when we look at any other page, it looks a little bit more like a page where there's no likes and there's shares. Now, there's 3 other ways that we can make our site look more like a website and less like a blog. And even if you want it to be a blog, you still want to know how to do these customization things. So one thing is we can put less widgets on the page if we want to. So all these things are known as widgets here that show up, in this case at the bottom of the page and the side of the page. I'll show you how to do that in a second. The second thing that we can do is pick a different theme that has the look and the feel more like a website rather than a blog, and we'll look at that next. And then to further go down that road, there are certain themes, but this may take a lot of trying out to find out which ones they are, that may give you options that you can actually make the blog page look more like this, with the options on the side to go into recent posts and to look into different categories, which I'll also tell you about that in a future video, and then make your other pages, a little bit wider and feel more like a website. So let's take one of those at a time. On the back end of the site, under Appearance, Widgets, this is going to bring me into a page that shows all of the widgets that are available, and then shows me which ones are currently, like for example, in the sidebar right now there's a search, there's a recent post, there's recent comments, there's archives, and there's categories. And we could add more to that, or we could take away from that. And you can see there's quite a few different things available to add into the widgets. Say I wasn't interested in having archives. I could just simply click on archives, drag it over in here, and now it's removed from the sidebar. There's probably a place here to update. Well, maybe we don't have to. Maybe this one goes live. Updates on the fly. Let's go ahead and see if that's true. So we're looking to see if archives is now gone from the side here. It's showing there, but what happens when I refresh the browser? Yep, gone. So, you technically or hypothetically could get rid of all that stuff if you wanted, but let's look at some of the other options that are available to you. To change a theme, you go under Appearance, you click Theme, and it takes you into this setting where themes are, and you can go trending, popular, newest. You can search for themes, and I just started to type in the search bar 20, I wanted 14, because I heard that it can do something, which I want to try out here. So what we're going to do is click on that to select it, and then you have an option to just click Preview, and that lets you look at your site with that as your selected theme, which is kind of nice because it gives you a nice little preview of it without having to select it. And then if you're sure that you like it, you can just go ahead and click on Save and Activate, but keep in mind you can always go back to whatever you had before. So if you're constantly writing down which themes you've tried, then you always know that you can go back to, if you remember the name, you can easily say, okay, I was on 2016, and if I want, I'll go back, repeat that for 2016. You can see this theme gives you a nice bit of separation here, kind of puts stuff over in a sidebar, and then you end up with some redundancy here of recent posts, so you could certainly remove the widget for recent posts over here. But before we do that, I want to go back to the back end of the site, and you may have to go back in after you preview a site and add admin to it again to give you the true control panel. But I want to go to this option here, and what I'm looking for is a special Customize button that's not actually in this menu right now, but if I click up here under My Site, it'll probably show up. There we go. So I click on Customize, and if you go through these, you'll see that some of them may seem a little bit similar to you. Now this first option here is for upgrading to a plan that you can really customize in, but I don't suggest you do that at this point. The next option here under Customize is Site Identity, and there we did this under a different option if you recall, but same thing where we can change the tagline and the site, and then you have color and backgrounds, and I find that a lot of these are a little bit on the nasty side, so be a little bit careful with these. You can just simply change the background in here if you want to. There's not much background showing right now, but again, I'm just going to go back to default here, and then you can change the fonts that are in the site away from the default, and just use some design sense when you do this. Make sure that you're getting the right hierarchy. So let's say that here, let's just pick something. Let's try this. So you can see it changes there, and then under the base font, we probably want to go with something that contrasts that. So let's try that one. Yeah, okay, not much better than the default or the default. But don't pick two sans serif fonts, because that's just kind of weird, right? The two fonts that you pick should be very different from each other. So not two serifs, not two sans serifs. Let's go back here, and then we have a header image. So if you wanted to put in a new header image, you can do that. You could just pick one of your current images if you want, and it will ask you, it'll say that's all of what will show up. So what part do you want to put in there? Obviously this is not going to look that great, but I'll select it just so you can see. But typically what the smart thing is to do is, if you want a header image, if it suits your site, write down what the size is and then make it perfect from Photoshop. And you can see here that you can also do, you could even add additional images and then randomize them as you're going from page to page. But I mean, be real careful about doing this. I definitely wouldn't do it on a portfolio site, and think about the whole term above the fold. This pushes your site down by this far to start with, so you better really have something important to offer up there that really adds style to your website. So I'm just going to hide that. Get rid of that. Okay, let's look at some more options here. We have menus, which we've already found a way to do that, so we don't really have to worry about doing the menus from here. And then we have the widgets. Here's where we could experiment with maybe getting rid of all the things that we feel like we don't need over there on the side. And then once they're all gone, the page, the content automatically moved over. So you can see that was definitely an improvement. Let's look and see what else we've got under here. Yeah, and then this is also another way to do that same thing where we change what page is what. So you can see there's multiples in here instead of going as we did from the regular dashboard. We're under this little submenu in the dashboard, and then you can add a featured comment if you want to. And then before we leave this customization section, we want to click on Save and Publish. And then I'll go to the page, refresh the browser, and so this is what it's kind of looking like now. And let's see what it looks like when someone first enters the page right there. They go to our blog, looks like this. So that was kind of a nice improvement, just going to that one theme. Okay, so we've covered most of this stuff. In an upcoming video, I'll cover how to make a image rotator, lightbox, that type of thing. Let's look at just one more changing of a menu. So again, we go into Appearance, Themes, and I said menu, I mean changing of a theme. And let's just look for one that we think might be friendly or that we just like. You can just keep scrolling through here all day long. Some of these have a price tag next to them, so obviously if you don't want to spend money on a theme, you'll avoid those. And once you find a theme that you like, if you know for sure you want it, click Activate. Otherwise, just click on Preview, and you get to see for free what it looks like. And by for free, I mean without committing to it. And yeah, I'm not a big fan of that. Maybe if I could update the header, though, who knows. But there you go. So no commitment to that one. I can just simply cancel out or whatever,